Hello and welcome. On this week's episode, we got a Moon Knight trailer. Woo-hoo-hoo! We get our first real solid look at Oscar Isaac as Marvel's Moon Knight. I think he looks great. Arthur, maybe not so much. Joss Whedon decides to kick off his rehabilitation tour by crashing the plane into the side of the mountain.
Yep.
It's going to take a while for him to get past this one, and we'll tell you all about it. Arthur had me watch a show called S.M.A.S.H, Saturday Morning All-Star Hits. It is Kyle Mooney's parody of 90s Saturday morning programming, and it was really funny for a few minutes.
I'm here for it, baby. Woohoo! Nostalgia!
I know you liked it. Oh, we're going to get into that. We are also going to get into Peacemaker. It is James Gunn's brilliantly violent and violently brilliant new show on HBO Max, and I'm here for that.
Yeah, I agree.
And lastly, we finish up with Book of Boba Fett. We got episode 4. We've been really positive and really complimentary up to this point, but it's starting to become a bit of a slog, and we're hoping that the Mandalorian showing up in episode 5 is going to fix this thing right up.
Ah!
So join us on
Tales from Mars. This is the way.
I know that show needs some baby Grogu or some Mandalorian. I think when we were doing the intro, I said season 5. I think or season 4. It was episode 4. Becomes a bit of a slog. And speaking of which, I have some cleanup on our Jedi talk from last week. I got a couple of things fucked up. Number one. Luke kills the Rancor in Jedi, not in The Empire Strikes Back.
How dare you make that mistake?
How
dare you make that mistake?
Number 2, I referred to Black Kirstan as Black Karak. Somehow I messed that up. Of course, you can't buy a vowel in this guy's name. It's Krrsantan. So I remembered him from the comic books. I did not look the name up before we talked about it, and I got the fucking name wrong.
Screwing up.
The last one is that the district outside of Mos Eisley is in fact Mos Espa, not Mos Isle, as I incorrectly referred to it a number of times during last week's episode. So just wanted to mop that up to get started. That I do not like to mess up Star Wars fandom, and so I realized when I edited it, was like, oh God, you sound idiotic. You got all 3 things wrong. So there we are. I feel better now.
Those for all for you guys that are into the deep cut stuff. I'm fine, sir.
That's right.
I'm fine, man. A lot of great stuff came out this week. A lot of shows we're probably not going to discuss, like Euphoria and Ozark. Ooh, I'm just having a great time.
Well, shoot, you're watching a bunch of stuff that is not on the assigned reading list. We had a little problem with you being caught up on Peacemaker, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But you're all caught up now, though, right?
Yeah, I am.
You're a goddamn liar. All right, I'm going to try not to spoil that for you. But
no, I am.
One thing I know you're caught up on.
I was just joking. I watched every episode.
Well, I'm going to get you caught up on a couple other things. We're going to talk about the Moonlight trailer, but I had 2 really funny stories, kind of funny, that had just come out that I wanted to cover with you real quick. Number 1, it was nice knowing you. The zombie apocalypse is officially upon us.
Why?
So, I was telling you a little earlier. So, it was recently in the news that about 2 days ago, there was a crash involving a pickup truck carrying a trailer with 100 monkeys, which were on their way to a CDC research facility after arriving at Kennedy Airport. This crash occurred in Pennsylvania, and all of the authorities involved swear that they have rounded up all 100 of the monkeys and that not a single monkey has escaped.
Oh, man. What's up with them, like, completely copying, like, just, like, the bad movie plot? And just making it reality.
This is some dude in a pickup truck pulling a trailer with 100 fucking... I want to see like X-Men style fucking semis if we are transporting shit like this. But somehow it's always just fucking Cletus with the trailer bringing 100 CDC monkeys through the state of Pennsylvania. The other thing that I thought was really telling was that apparently the CDC provided backup support to the local law enforcement in the form of helicopters and officers outfitted with heat sensing technology, goggles and heat sensing cameras for their helicopters so that they could be sure that they found all 100 of these completely harmless monkeys.
Lord. Just imagine,
Also, they've
man.
said that they've captured all of them, but they also said if you encounter one in the wild, do not approach it. Like, how are you going to say we have captured all the monkeys, but if we didn't and you see one in the wild, do not go near it.
Yeah, we're going to get the monkey cron variant. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. It is 28 days later. It's happening.
Yeah.
So remember we called it today. That's horrible. In less horrible news, everybody on Facebook is loving this new game called Waddle's Wordle. And it's a browser word game that just has sprung up. And every time I look at Facebook, somebody's posting their Wordle score. And so something that's really interesting to note about this game, though, is that it's not an app. It's a browser game. But right now, the number one app on the iTunes store is an app called Wordle. And this is a mistake. This app called Wordle was invented by a guy named Stephen Cravatta about 5 years ago as just a little word game that he programmed and put up on the Apple Store. This has nothing to do with the viral hit Waddle's Wordle, which is a browser game and has no app. So this guy woke up about 2 weeks ago and realized that out of nowhere, he had like 5 million downloads.
Oh, no. That's freaking dope.
Because of mistaken identity.
And you said it's free, or did he make some money?
He made a ton of money.
Whoa.
A small mountain of money. But here's where the story gets fantastic. So Stephen Cravatta didn't feel right about the whole thing. He had literally just hit the lottery in that he happened to have an app that had the same title as an app, and people were downloading it, not knowing that this wasn't the app. So he had this crisis of conscience and was like, what do I do with all of this money? So he is giving all of the proceeds from the app to Boost West Oakland, which is a youth mentorship program based out of Oakland, California, that tries to teach kids life skills and to help them advance themselves in underprivileged areas. Fantastic. I mean, this guy literally hit the lotto and was like, it's a case of mistaken identity. I shouldn't have 1 cent of this money. And he has literally given it all away. Now, representatives from Boost West Oakland said they were approached completely, unprovoked by this guy and said, I want to just give you this small fortune. He hasn't said how much money he's donated, but he has said it is all of it. So, like, faith in humanity restored a little bit, right?
That's good.
That's awesome. I love stories like that. So I figured before we got into some like stuff that's going on and things we don't like, and then there's going to be some more ugliness later on.
You want to tell people where to download that game?
Well, it's the number one game on the Apple iTunes store, on the App Store.
Okay.
So if you just open up your iPhone, you go to casual games, it's number one. It's called Wordle.
Wow.
And it's not the Wordle that everybody is playing online. This is literally a case of mistaken identity. Waddle's Wordle is a browser game that is very, very popular right now. You see everybody posting those little green boxes on their Facebook pages. That's what that is. This is a case of mistaken identity. I don't know too much about the game, except that it is some kind of word puzzle game. But millions and millions of people downloaded it by accident. This guy ended up with a bunch of money that he didn't really feel entitled to, and so he gave it all away, and that's fucking fantastic.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful. So also beautiful and fantastic, the trailer for Moon Knight, which has just got our boy Oscar Isaac freaking out in every other scene. Just, he has no idea what's going on, and it's fantastic. His British accent is fantastic, even though the character's not British. So that poses a bunch of questions.
Well, he got all those personalities, though.
Well, that's the thing. So for people who don't know, Marvel is producing a show. It's going to come out in March. It's called Moon Knight. Moon Knight is effectively Marvel's Batman. in that he is very similarly dressed, except that he's white instead of black, and he has a similar aesthetic and similar weapons set and background in that he's, he has money for all of this gear and whatever it is. He's Marvel's Batman. The difference is that Marvel really plays up the mental health aspect where he has multiple personality disorder.
That's what I really loved about the trailer. We haven't really seen Oscar Isaacs really sink his teeth in a role like this in a while. He typically plays a lot of laid back characters.
Yeah, he doesn't get to flex.
Yeah, so to really see him be put through the throes is, I think, that's immediately the highlight of this thing. I mean, because he's such a cinematic actor, and so that's what's really cool. I just really liked what they were doing all throughout the trailer.
The aesthetic is great. I love the real tight, like Bruce Campbell, Evil Dead style shots on Oscar Isaac's face, like the real tight, bubbly shots. It looks so good.
Yeah, so it's like that's fantastic. What were you about to say?
No, I was just saying the whole thing looks like it has great tone. I kind of like the more organic approach to the costume rather than having to explain that Marc Specter builds special ops gear and makes his own costume. It looks like they're going to go with something a bit more organic, and I think it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like how like it was like summoned to his body. But ultimately, I didn't like the reveal of the costume. That was the only part of the trailer I didn't really care for that much. It just I mean, the costume was never really an interesting costume in the comic books either.
No, you're right.
Yeah, so to try to make that work, I mean, Marvel, they tend to be. I feel kind of weird being this judgy about the costumes because it's definitely comics accurate. Before, we used to be whiny babies over and over again about them not getting things right.
Oh, well, the X-Men, where, it was like, you cannot put that on screen. They wear black leather, special ops suits the whole series.
Yellow spandex.
Yellow spandex. They even joke about the fact that you couldn't possibly wear that. And so, but then Marvel was like, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense because Moon Knight's design is basically, Batman-style armor with a cape and hood.
Yeah.
So, rather than a cowl,
I'm sure they're gonna make it work. But I didn't really care for the reveal too much of the costume. But the 90% of the trailer, I loved it.
No doubt. So we're looking forward to that. Unfortunately, it does bear noting that Gaspard Villiel, who is going to play Midnight Man, one of the villains, Anton Mogart, has unfortunately died at the age of 37.
Did he finish the whole season?
Yes, the season is shot. But certainly this would eliminate any possibility for a season 2. So I'm not quite sure what they'll do with the character in the show.
Man,
but
that sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately had a collision while skiing and it cost him his life. So, but at least he got to do some stuff. And he was very, very active in France, in French cinema. And he was sort of just starting to break into American cinema when he passed away. But so that sort of puts a bit of a pall on it. Ethan Hawke plays the other villain in the show. But it looks very, very promising, and I think it would be a fitting last work to get to be part of such a large universe and something so many people enjoy. So I hope that perhaps his family takes some solace in that.
Yeah, Ethan's been playing a lot of villains lately.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a serial killer in another movie that's about to come out.
Oh yeah. I don't have it in front of me right now, but he does have another larger project that was just releasing.
Oh yeah.
So that's sort of the basic news. Next thing we were going to talk about today, I think, was Joss Whedon recently had an absolute bombshell article come out in New York Magazine in their Vulture section, and man, do they pick his freaking bones off this. That's not to call them a bunch of vultures, but I'm saying this man committed Harry Carey right in front of him, so they'd be foolish not to.
Yeah.
But the article was called The Undoing of Joss Whedon by Leela Shapiro. This has had a huge resonating shockwave through the entire freaking entertainment industry. Joss Whedon, of course, an incredibly talented writer, and for a long time, one of the longest, most celebrated feminist writers and showrunners in Hollywood. And then, recently he had a whole very messy divorce with his wife, with his first wife. And she sort of blew up his spot and said, he's not the guy everybody thinks he is. And I'm going to tell you some stuff. And then other stuff started coming out and the ball started rolling. And suddenly Joss Whedon, the creator of Buffy and Firefly and Avengers 1 and 2 and so much stuff. Toy Story was fucking canceled. And so he's been really, really quiet since this whole thing sort of blew up. We did a whole bunch of episodes early in the production of this show on the Nevers. And that was sort of the last thing he was publicly working on before he got shuffled off to director hell. And now he's starting to talk a little bit about his thoughts on things. And I think maybe he thought he was making it better and he just made it so much fucking worse.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things he was saying, he was talking about Ray Fisher, about how he's a bad actor in life and in the movie.
I know. Like, I looked at this, and when I was doing my notes on it, I was like, let me see if I could print it out. And my printer wanted it to be like 30 pages. And I'm like, I'm not printing this out. I'm just going to take notes out of this.
Holy cow.
Like, this guy talks too much. This entire article there should have just been a press agent in the corner saying, I'm really sorry about everything that happened. I'm taking some time to work on myself and to fix the problems. And some of the things that I have been doing are unacceptable. And I take full responsibility. And my hope is to win everyone's respect and trust back in the future. Thank you so much and have a great day.
But
that's the whole thing he should ever say for the next 2 years.
But Tom, dude, that's somebody with humility, man.
Oh my God. No. And it's clear from this, he has none.
That's what I'm saying. Like He's a clear narcissist, as are a lot of geniuses.
Yeah.
And he's been in a huge bubble, and I'm sure he's had a lot to say since all of this stuff has happened. And I'm sure he thinks he's correct.
It's amazing
when it comes down to it.
It's amazing how completely unaware he can be, and how absolutely socially inept. I mean, I've never seen somebody fail to read the room this hard. I was talking to Rachel and I just looked at her, I was like, he's one of the richest men in Hollywood. Where is his publicist just stepping in and going, nope, we are not doing this. This is over.
But think about the type of person that guy would listen to. He's been operating a certain way in Hollywood for over 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years. That's 30 years of habits and knowledge of the industry, secrets that he has from people, logging in all those hours of people. I'm sure everybody's not innocent in this too, including those actors, and as far as stuff that they would do as well.
Sure, but
like him, I'm just saying, like, for him to just really just jump on this, like what a publicist would have to say, like, I don't really find that really believable, unless you have a little bit more humility, and in which case he probably wouldn't be in this situation.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, he spends 2 days talking to Leela Shapiro about all this stuff, and his answers, his responses to things were so fucking tone deaf, where he goes, he had it's been verified, he threatened Gal Gadot's career, that I will make your life hell in Hollywood if you don't do what I want, because he wanted to do his typical Joss Whedon ass shots where you start at the ankles of a sexy lady and you bring the shot all the way up and you stop on her fucking ass as she then runs into battle. And Gal Gadot was like, you know what? I'm not doing that shot. I don't like this. This is bullshit. And I'm not doing it. And so he basically took her aside. He's like, you will fucking do it or I will end your career. And she's like, I'm calling human resources. Fuck you. I'm Gal fucking Gadot. Who the fuck do you think you are? And she was right. And he got straightened out and he shot those scenes with a body double. Those scenes are in that show. The Justice League, so many unnecessary goddamn ass shots. And when asked about this in this interview, he goes, well, we all know that Gal Gadot's first language isn't English. And I tend to use some very flowery language. So I think she misunderstood me. She responded because New York Magazine reached out and she was like, I understood perfectly what he was saying. And I'm sure she did. I am absolutely certain she did. So it's that kind of fucking audacity. And I'm sure that the actors didn't like it. You think about it, Zack Snyder is very improv-y, very let people go. If you want to run with the scene a little bit, very flexible. Joss Whedon is completely inflexible. His perspective is, I am a genius writer. My words are genius. You will read and say the words exactly as I have written them.
I won't hold that against him because like there's plenty of directors that are like that. Writer directors versus like actor directors.
No, totally. But when you are brought onto a fucking project that is like 90% done, those actors did not sign on to fucking work with you and your goddamn method. They signed on to do this picture a certain way with a certain director in a certain environment, and you come in and you throw a monkey wrench into the entire chemistry of that cast, then you're in the wrong. You're in the wrong. He had to realize that like this wasn't his name ain't on the movie. You, I don't know.
You gotta roll with the punches.
I think that but I think there's got to be give on both sides, and by all accounts, Joss Whedon is not interested in ever giving.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm comparing this to other directors, like I just don't see it being that much different. If another director is brought on, like the things will change and like they have their directing style. He's not going to immediately start acting like Zack Snyder.
No, I don't think he has to be Zack Snyder, but I also think
especially when they were like Warner Brothers, who's at the behest of this mess too, were bringing him to quote unquote fix the movie. So like that means he did a bunch of rewrites and was trying to make the movie the way he saw fit. So I'm not gonna hold that against him, because that's what happens on a lot of movie sets.
I think that the problem here is that the biggest issue is that Joss Whedon was held up and was happy to hold himself up as a feminist icon. It's one of these things where like not to be, reductive, but like this article does not come out about some kind of trash talking comedian, or somebody who doesn't put themselves out there as a feminist icon. He always held himself up to be that role when behind the scenes, he was clearly anything but that. And that's the part of the thing is that if you're going to be sanctimonious and you're going to go and, wave your flag like that, well, then it better be clean. Because if it's not, it's going to come out and people will only celebrate your fall even more because in addition to being shitty, you are now also a tremendous hypocrite. And that's what it appears Joss Whedon is. He's a creepy little weirdo who suddenly found himself the toast of Hollywood and decided that it was his time. And he was going to do and say and act any fucking way that he wanted to because now he had the power after feeling powerless for so long. This is my words and his. If you read the article, I encourage everyone, go online, read the article. We can't possibly dig into all of the fucking shit of it here. But man, does he come off as just the absolute most tremendous tool. I read the entire thing, all fucking, 35 printer pages of it, and he just comes off as the most sanctimonious, completely unaware fucking tool. And that wasn't the writer. That was literally just quoting him.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that sucks. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't know. Other things that suck include Saturday morning all-star hits.
Terrible. You're so terrible.
Oh, you loved it. You loved it, didn't you? I bet you loved it. You watched all 8
Yeah,
episodes?
I loved it. Not all 8. I seen I'm up to episode 5, I think.
Oh my God. I'm actually further along in this than you are. I watched the whole goddamn thing. I'm never getting that time back. Why don't you break this down? So what is Saturday morning all-star hits on Netflix?
So Kyle Mooney, I believe he's still on SNL. I don't think he's left it yet. He's always been typically known for like just really weird offbeat sketches and sometimes like having a 90s hue to them and 90s edge to the sketches whenever he was able to do his own sketches on SNL. He's been able to strike off on his own and make a show on Netflix that's like a hybrid of live action and animation, all based off of like the complete milieu of Saturday morning cartoons and some of the like live action intros that would lead into like a Saturday morning block of cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so great. Is it because he takes the concept and of course flips it on its head and subverts expectations, and all while really giving you the feel of just a complete blast of all of those early 90s cartoons and stuff. So I liked it a bit more than Tom, obviously.
All right. Well, I have to just for a little context for the listeners. So I entered this with a little bit of a misconception, actually. So you're in California and I'm in New York, and so sometimes you call me and it's like midnight over here. And it was, a Friday night, and it was about 11:30, and I had a couple of drinks, and you call up like, "Oh, Arthur, what the fuck, man? What's going on?" And you're like, "Have you seen this show S.M.A.S.H?" I'm like, "No, I have no idea what this is, man. What is this shit?" And you're like, "It's Kyle Mooney doing Saturday morning TV, cartoon show parodies." And I was like, Paul Mooney doing Saturday morning cartoon show parodies. that sounds fucking weird. And isn't he dead? Like, I'm thinking that in my head, and I'm like, and somehow the words came out of my mouth. Wait, Kyle Mooney is doing the Saturday. How's that possible?
This is the thing, Tom.
And you're like,
listen, Tom.
He has
listen,
a show and it's
listen,
Saturday
Tom.
morning cartoon spoof. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that does sound fucking weird. I'll definitely watch that. So I put it on and I get Don Atari on my toe. I was like, this isn't Paul Mooney.
Listen, Tom. The thing is, listen, Tom. Listen, I could not make Saturday morning cartoons back then because they would steal everything from me. White people will steal everything from me. Okay.
I was like, Paul Mooney. Yeah, I mean, fuck, you gave Mario Cantone Steam Pipe Alley. Anything's possible. People forget Mario fucking Cantone had his own like Saturday morning. We're going to host cartoons and do wacky segments in the early 90s show. Like, and he's fucking crazy. That show was also fueled by cocaine. So yeah, no, this show is funny. Like what Kyle Mooney is doing. I know he's not Paul Mooney, and that's a shame. That would be a show to watch, but he's like legit. The bits are funny. So the whole setup is that it's like one of these hosted shows where he has two brothers, they're twins named Skip and Traybar, and they're hosting, we're going to watch all of these crazy, fucked up cartoons that we made up. So they made up a bunch of cartoons like Randy, which is a play on Denver the Last Dinosaur. You have the Create-A-Crittles, which is a play on the Care Bears, the Strong-A-Moles, which is basically Thundercats, and a bunch of other ones. And they are super funny the first time I see it. Paul Rudd is hysterical in the Care Bears knockoff, the Create-A-Crittles. But like, I feel like this thing needs some fucking editing. Like this should maybe be 3 episodes. Although I will admit that I did enjoy the last 2 episodes more than I thought I would. But you don't get that. You don't get like the fatigue. Like it's a gag. It's a spoof. And then once the bloom is off the rose on the novelty of it, where's the staying power for you?
Oh man, I was dying. Oh my God, it's so funny.
I'm laughing at you, laughing at this dumbass show. Look, it nails. He gets the aesthetic. This thing looks like 1992. The Power Glove knockoff, the Power Mitten.
Yeah.
And that's fucking funny. Sonic Yum Gum is like an exact 1-to-1 of those early 90s bubble tape, aesthetics. All of the fonts look
Sonic.
They all look like Saved by the Bell. All of the fucking fonts straight up are Saved by the Bell fonts. I mean, he gets it. He knows what he's doing. And when it's funny, it's funny. But I feel like it's the show equivalent of the Peter Griffin smacks his shin gag in Family Guy, where the joke is that the joke goes on too long. And you're just like, when the fuck is this going to end? And it becomes this place where I think performance art gets conflated with comedy, where it's like, isn't it funny how we obviously should have ended this 30 seconds ago, and we made you sit through 30 seconds of this noise. And then it's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, you just made me sit through fucking 30 seconds of this goddamn noise. Like on the one hand, if you're good enough at parodying something that sucks, you two also suck. And so, like, it's a stupid kids show designed for 5 to 12-year-olds that we would have thoroughly enjoyed, and they spoof it perfectly. But after 3 hours, it's like I'm watching a stupid kids show, and I'm a grown-ass man. Like, oh, I get it. The fucking Care Bears say fucked up shit, and, you know, like, these Thundercats have jobs working in a sub shop now. Like, and everything is also like, it's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's supposed to be sad. And then there's just never a fucking punchline. It's just weird for the sake of weird. I don't know.
I see the punchlines all over the place. Like the constant running gag of the subs.
Right, because it's a spoof on how catchphrases like, did I do that? Just fucking permeated every goddamn pore of television in the 90s. It's a good gag the first 10 times. That's all I'm saying.
They find good ways to stretch it out. Oh, God. I like your reference, you know? Because, you know, the key to comedy is surprise, man. And when, you know, of course, if there's going to be diminishing returns if you watch this again. I don't think I'm going to probably watch it again. There's a couple of episodes I'll probably watch again, though. The one with the king is so... I died, man. I tell you, I
thought
died.
That joke was so fucking stupid. Oh, my God. Again, to me, that bit is funny if you just cut it in half. Just cut that whole fucking segment in half. This is why you were like... Kyle Mooney is always being held back by other cooks in the kitchen changing his shit on SNL. And I'm like, they're called editors and they're doing a good fucking job. If this is what he does when they go home, then they are very important people. And I hope that they get paid more.
I guess it's not for everybody. It was perfectly for me. Me and my friends like lost our minds on this.
And I was mildly intoxicated when I watched it, and it still didn't work. What I would say to somebody is, if you want to check this out, watch episode 1, watch episode 3, watch episode 6, and you're all set. You get the fucking gag. And thankfully, in the last few episodes, they changed the gags up a little bit.
You got to watch 1 through 6 because there's a continuing story going on with Skip and Trey Boy.
All right, well then watch them all at your own peril. If you got 3 hours of your life that you don't want back, then you can sit down and binge watch this. Maybe it would be funnier if I watched like 1 episode a week for, 6 weeks. I don't know. It's just the gag got old. I thought it was hysterical the first episode. I feel like this is
a perfectly bingeable show.
I thought it was hysterical the first episode, funny the second episode, and then I'm like, yo, this fucking dinosaur is fucking depressing. And that's supposed to be the thing. This is Denver the Last Dinosaur having an existential crisis. And like that's only fun to a point. I don't know. It wasn't for me.
Oh my God. The side characters are so great. The firefighter girlfriend,
voiced by Emma Stone. They got some good people on this. Yo, Cree Summer is legit funny. Holy shit.
Yeah, man.
That is a voice from your childhood. When you hear Cree Summer doing her typical 80s cartoon voice, you know it. And it like there's a 5-year-old in you that wakes up and is like, I know that voice. Cree Summers is a vision, and they got all the right people. I mean, by all rights, it's very well made, and it is a perfect parody for what it is. I think it's the Peter Griffin smacks his shin joke. I think it's twice as long as it needs to be. If this were 3 episodes, you tighten up the story. I love it. So I don't know. If you're listening to this, go and find out for yourself. Little Brucey doesn't fucking work at all, by the way. That gag where it's like they're making fun of the Bobby's World and actually to call out Life with Louie.
I agree with you.
They're making fun of where every stand-up comedian had their own show of them as a child.
There's a lot of them, man.
And, R.I.P. Louis Anderson, who just lost this week.
Louis.
You got a big prominent gap in your teeth, work it. work it for millions of
He
dollars.
stood the test of time, man. He was working consistently.
All he did
and
was
like
work.
in so many different ways.
Game show host,
like
cartoon.
game show host. Like then he struck it big on baskets, winning Emmys. You know, like working on that show. I don't know if you heard of Baskets.
Yeah. And then, but he was also like one of the most popular comedians of the 80s. I mean, he was huge.
Oh,
in
definitely.
The 80s. So he had a huge career that spanned a lot of different mediums. And
I first saw him on Coming to America.
yeah. I'm working at McDowell's.
Yeah, and I love the cartoon too. Life of Louie was like really
That was
good.
a good cartoon. Had a lot of heart.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he but that Little Brucey is a play on that. And then actually I think Pro Bros might have been my favorite segment. Except that again, there's an incredibly fucking esoteric joke to it where we get it. You're making a spoof of Pro Stars, but then you have to make the gimmick so amazingly specific and bizarre that I think you just lose the thing of it. But that was legit funny. But I think that's really all I need to say about Saturday. If I never talk about this show again, maybe it'll be too soon.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. That I agree with you on the little
Brucey.
Little Brucey did go really long.
Oh, fucking so unnecessary. The
gave
whole
me
thing.
mild anxiety.
That's what I'm saying. And it's designed to, again, it's comedy that's like, isn't it funny how uncomfortable I can make you? And at some point you're like, you're just making me uncomfortable. I think I'm done. I think I'm going to change the channel.
Yeah.
And then when I change the channel, nice. Both of us right at the same time. Like, that's the transition, clearly. Where are we changing the channel to, son?
We're changing the channel to... What are we changing to?
This is why I'm the host. This is why I direct traffic over here. We're going to Peacemaker. We're going to talk Peacemaker because I figure we'll wrap up with Book of Boba Fett because we only have one episode to talk about.
Okay, cool.
But I want to just take some time and talk about the sheer madness that is Peacemaker. All right, so real honest talk here, baby. Level it down. Let's bring it down in real close. How many episodes you watch?
I saw them all.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so were you? Okay, all right, I'll change my. So were you fucking with me earlier? Is that what that was?
Yes. I said I was fucking with you.
Yeah, you're such a good actor.
I acted like I didn't watch them. Then I was like, yeah, I watched them.
Arthur's like, it's acting.
You got to keep this in the podcast.
Well, good acting then, I suppose. So what'd you think?
Oh man, I had a really good time. You know, first of all, you know, it's James Gunn, man. Like, dude, like the guy has just been knocking everything down, like all these past 10 years. Like, oh man, he's it's just fantastic what he's able to do with this. I do feel like it's a little writery, a lot.
It's a little mumblecore. I like it. Yeah.
It relies on a lot of like certain things to keep it going. Cause like I'm not quite sure throughout the whole thing what's really going on with Peacemaker. You know,
yeah.
Because at one point we're seeing that he's super insecure. Then at one point he's like super crass and crazy. Then at one point he's super sweet. It's a lot to balance that amount of facets to a character.
Oh yeah, no, Cena plays it super complex.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one thing I can give to John. Like he's really going for it into being the lead in a TV show like this. I think he's just been killing it. The cast is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
The comedy is great. The action pieces are sick.
The music is great.
Well, heck yeah. It's so great. Like there's one episode where they do a metal version of the Foster the People song.
Yeah.
Because they were making fun of the Foster the People song earlier
you know
in
what
the
that
episode.
song's about? Like, what do you mean you like that song? That song's terrible. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, but the thing that bothers me is like it's something that's like outside of the actual show. It's just like, so y'all DC, y'all make this like DCU live action, TV series when there's no other like DCEU like live action TV series other than like what you call it, a Doom Patrol. But Doom Patrol is not part of that universe as well. It's like part of this the CW universe. So it's just frustrating that they can't really get their shit together.
You and I see this very differently. So your complaint, let me just see if I understand this. Your complaint with this show is that there isn't some whole other show that exists that complements it. That's your argument? You're like,
no.
I would really like this show more if there were other shows that this show referenced. Just watch the fucking show. They got to start somewhere.
No, man. It's just weird that they're starting with Peacemaker.
They have
That's
to
just
start
weird.
somewhere. No. If you're going to let somebody establish a tone and a fucking world that you're going to live in, let James Gunn establish that world. Let him establish the world. Then go make other shows that play in the fucking world that he created. I think that's a great
But that's not going to be
idea.
consistent. That's like I know exactly what's going to happen.
We don't know.
It's not
You
gonna
don't
be
know.
consistent.
You're so wrong.
Yes, we've seen it.
Nope.
We've seen it, Tom.
Nope. I think you're wrong. You don't know shit. You said that Sony was going to fucking snatch up Spider-Man. You were wrong.
Oh, the one time I was wrong. Shut up.
No, I think, okay, this is the #1 rated DC property ever created. We are setting the tone. If they are smart, they are setting the tone. And now that James Gunn has built the sandbox, you just let other people fucking play in it. I really,
Key
really
point,
think-
Tom. If they were smart. Key, Tom. Key. If they were smart.
Well,
okay?
we are both
They're always bungling
We're
stuff
both
up
just
over
being
there.
optimistic or pessimistic about hypotheticals, and either of those arguments is stupid. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know. Your argument right now is this is so good, they are going to fuck this up. Like, I know it. I just know it. It's just too good. DC isn't allowed to have nice things, and I guarantee that they will take something this amazing and just fuck it up. And my argument is like, it's really amazing. Objectively, subjectively, everyone agrees this is fucking great. They would be stupid to fuck it up. And your argument's like, they are definitely that stupid. Like, there's no answers to be had here, man. It's just, let's enjoy it. They made something great.
I definitely enjoy the show. I just wish they had their stuff together to where they were actually making other shows of this amount of quality. That's my thing.
All right, well, that's not a
Well,
critique
that's
of this
just
show.
not the
Like, I
case.
wish they had other shows that were this good too. So do I. Then I agree with you. I wish that those shows
So
existed, but they don't.
That's my only issue. You know.
That is
So
an
with
absurd
the show, it's
we
great.
had moved on, and then you had to say it again, and I'm like, that's the silliest argument I've ever heard. My gripe about this show is that there aren't other shows as good.
Yes.
What the fuck do I do with that?
Because I would like to enjoy DC content if they were consistent about it.
They gave you decent content, and it's called Peacemaker. Let's talk about it.
I want more.
Jesus Christ. They served you this beautiful, incredible chocolate cake, and it's like, well, that's a 10-inch round chocolate, and it really is a little, inappropriate to serve it without at least complimenting 8-inch round vanilla and strawberry cakes. And they're like, but don't you like the cake we got you? I would like it more if you had served it properly with complimenting smaller
shush.
cakes surrounding
Anyway.
it that are orbiting my beautiful cake.
Anyway,
You
I love the
fucking
intro to the
selfish
show.
fuck.
It's fantastic. I love the intro.
The intro is
I
pure
love the
genius.
intro.
It's,
It's
pure
so
James Gunn
fantastic.
genius.
I love Eagly. Eagly is the best thing ever.
Oh, let's not spoil it too. Let's not spoil anything. Let's just talk about the show a little bit and talk about some of the fun shit in it. But let's try and spoil as little as possible.
Okay, sure. Like I said, cast is great. The fighting has been fantastic. Getting to understand Peacemaker a little bit more, you just understand more about the man, and it has been interesting so far.
Yeah. I mean, John Cena has such an amazing face. I don't know what kind of lenses they're using to shoot this show, but his head is so big. It's like, so Jack Kirby used to draw shit like just slightly out of proportion, and it gave everything this otherworldly, like part of his thing was like, you got to learn the rules and then you learn how to break them for effect. And I feel like John Cena's body breaks the laws of physics ever so slightly, but to amazing effect. He is so big and captivating on screen, and the way that he can
he's
move
an action
his face.
figure.
He's a living action figure. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
He's an 80s action figure, I should say.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, what a great way to put it.
Yeah.
He looks so good. He looks so good. Robert Patrick as his white supremacist dad, who also builds all his tech.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Robert Patrick is amazing as he just like berates John Cena through this show.
He's perfect.
And then we also get, just running down the cast real quick for people who don't know, we have Danielle Brooks playing Leota Adebayo. We have Freddie Stroma playing Vigilante, who I think has such a great voice that he's going to be doing cartoons for like the next 25, 30 years of his life. Like, and I think that when this guy shows up to the audition and his name is Stroma, like James Gunn's like, yeah, that's a good sign. You're in. I don't even care if you can't act. You're great. Because he's so like, he's like a murderous Arthur from The Tick.
Yeah, he's great.
Just great.
He's been great the whole time.
He's a Harry
Tasha
Potter
Jefferson.
kid, apparently. Like he was a B character in all of the Harry Potter movies, but I'd never heard of him before. But fuck, he's funny.
Oh, which character did he play?
I don't know. I don't have the IMDb page up in front of me, but apparently a prominent enough character. He did some voice
I don't recognize his face.
That's what I'm saying. Me neither. But he's like he's a B background dude, and apparently he did some voice work on the video games as well. Yeah.
So he's actually British.
Yes, he is. But he does a great whiny
cool.
American voice, and he's so good as Vigilante. When there's one scene where, you know, Peacemaker is having trouble taking the shot, and he's like, give me the gun, and I shoot you, and I shoot you. And he's just like...
Yeah, he's like, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo.
Oh, my God. And he's so, like, casual. It's great. He's basically playing Deadpool, essentially. You know what I mean? In a weird sort of way. He's got that very Ryan Reynolds high-pitched timbre to his voice. And at one point, Peacemaker and another character are smoking a joint. And he looks at me and goes, you guys sure are lucky that stuff's legal now, because about 5 years ago, I would have shot you both right in the head. And they're looking at him like, what? And then later on, when John Cena's talking about how his dad is, you know, a little bit or a lot of bit racist and stuff. And he goes, your dad's racist? Yeah. You haven't shot him yet? And he goes, no, he's my dad. I love him. Oh, I would have shot him. You can't be racist. That's not right. Like, he's so just like flat. And he plays this Vigilante character so great. I think he's so much fun in this show. This show is swinging for the fences every single episode. Pure violent madness. It feels like Super was a great setup for James Gunn for this show.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen Super?
Yes.
Oh, of course you have.
Oh, yeah. With Rainn.
Yeah, Rainn Wilson playing a guy delusional. And the violence, though, this is where James Gunn really knows violence.
That one was really dark, though.
That was super dark.
Yeah. He played Cormac McLagan in like the 5th Harry Potter film.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that character now.
He's great as Vigilante.
He definitely was a side character. I love Tasha Jefferson. I've always loved her since Orange is the New Black.
Mm-hmm.
And she just always has this very genuine quality to her. And she's like super hilarious. So I'm glad she's in this. And it's so funny to see her dance during that intro.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny to watch all of them dance, especially like the little judo dude.
Judo master.
Yeah, man.
Who is this tiny dude who kicks the shit out of like everybody. And John Cena. And again, it's very mumblecore where he's like, I don't know, man. Smaller than normal people, like little doll people, they wig me out. It's very creepy, very strange. Why do they have to be so small? Why do they have to be so small? It's weird. Am I wrong? It's like, and I grew up, we grew up in the 90s and you know, mumblecore is funny sometimes. And this really does dialogue scenes. And this is funny, kicking back to S.M.A.S.H for just a second, where it's like sometimes the gag goes on just a little bit too long. And this show does that with some of the gags, and then it knows when to stop. It doesn't like make you sit. So like the whole thing where he's arguing with the hospital orderly about smoking a joint with him and buying weed. And he's just like, I smoked a joint with you in the stairwell just that one time. I know, but it's like that bit goes on for like 3 seconds too long, but then they sort of wink at the camera and they end the bit. This show is brilliant at bringing the joke right up to the edge and then just pulling back exactly the right amount. It's hard to understate how funny it is.
The guy that played that janitor, he's always been such a great character actor. He's like in everything.
Oh, he's hysterical in Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah.
That's where I first
it's
like
so
recognized him.
funny
Like,
'cause
he got another job.
He plays such a minor part, but yet he's still in the intro, flipping around.
Tons of minor. It's great. He's amazing. It's so great with the bucket and the mop. I mean, it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we get Chidakwi. Oh God, can you help me? Mr. Mern. I can't pronounce his name. I'm trying, but it's so many consonants. Chukwudi Iwuji. I'm trying, man. I'm sorry. I'm white.
You gotta just charge it to the game, bro.
Chukwudi Iwuji as Mr. Mern. He's got a good seriousness, a good Amanda Waller quality to him. Feels very Amanda Waller. But we get Amanda Waller. So we get the call back to
I thought no spoilers.
Well, I'm saying we see her and she talks and we know that she's in the universe. But we're not spoiling anything about why we see her or how she's involved. Just, hey, we're getting some Amanda Waller in this too.
Okay, cool.
Jennifer Holland as Amelia Harcourt, which is the edgy one. She's the nonsense.
She was an original one of the original
Suicide Squatters
for the movie.
And then from also Steve Agee is John Economos, or as he refers to himself, the Economist. You don't fuck with the Economist, son.
He also stood in for King Shark.
Oh, that's funny. Did he really during the mocaps in
the
Suicide
movie.
Squad? That's really funny.
Yeah.
He is really funny when he fucks up later on and he's like, I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I do anything. Like, fuck, man. Like he plays inept very well. And he's sort of like,
oh, yeah.
I think that, because when we talked about this show coming out, we were watching the trailers and you were like, I don't know. They just went and got all the B side dudes from Suicide Squad to be his backing crew. And I think now in watching it in principle, I think they were good choices.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, it's a great supporting crew. Like, I mean, definitely. I was wrong on all accounts because the thing is I was basing a lot of it off of the movie. He wasn't that good in the movie. But he's really good in this.
But this show uses flashbacks to the movie that like add gravity into those scenes again. Like the flashbacks where you have him like really thinking about killing Colonel Flagg. So
well, no, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about reasons why I didn't think the show was going to work because they were using those actors. And, the Economist guy, he wasn't that great in the movie.
Oh, got it.
So that's what made me a little, tepid about.
I thought you were
movie,
saying John Cena wasn't that
show.
great in that movie.
No, John Cena was great. He was one of the best things about the movie.
Yeah, fair. He's so good.
I mean, I wouldn't immediately think that he was the character that you would make a live action movie based off of, a live action TV show based off of. But it works.
Well, and it's because this thing is about so much. Like this show gives us so much gravitas in the superhero like relationship between John Cena and his father, Robert Patrick. That's so central to the show's tone and to its direction is John Cena trying to figure out how did I get here? Like, how did I become this thing? And what does it mean to be this thing? And so that's why he changes all the time because he is a crazy person doing crazy things with crazy amounts of trauma. And so his emotions fly all over the map depending on what he's being exposed to in the moment. And John Cena plays that all so brilliantly and so perfectly. You really feel his relationship with Robert Patrick as his father. It's surprising in a show that's about shooting people in the face that there's so much emotional resonance in the characters that are shooting people in the face. It's so good. I love it. I love it. So everybody should watch Peacemaker. If you're listening to this, watch fucking Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I think? You know what I think, Arthur? I think that we
What?
should hold off on Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
I think it's a good choice because really the entire episode 4, is a flashback episode.
Yeah.
So it didn't advance the plot in any way.
Mhm.
And there's going to be another episode coming up. I think we both feel that the show was starting off great, but now it's not really getting anywhere. And we're hoping it's going to get somewhere. And so since it kind of,
I don't feel that way.
you don't feel like it's not getting
I've
anywhere?
been-
I feel like it's not getting
No,
anywhere.
I've been enjoying the ride.
I'm
you know?
enjoying the
I've-
nostalgia.
I love what Favreau and Filoni are doing. Like, they really love Star Wars, and they're giving us Star Wars on a weekly basis.
I
and
totally
not just
agree.
they're connected to Star Wars than J.J. Abrams ever was. J.J. Abrams was so inundated with making sure he could make a great Star Wars thing, you know, without really super being super connected to it. Like they just kind of threw a lot of things at us versus
doubt.
like there's awesome just like understanding of the character, coming up with new storylines that totally fit that character's like universe without it being stale or stifling or anything. Like, yeah, and we just get all these really fun Star Wars moments too with practical effects, and I'm enjoying the ride. I love it when it's being steered by somebody who really appreciates the stuff, cares about the fans, and they're talented storytellers.
I agree that all of those things are true in a sense, but at the same time, I feel like we are not advancing the story in the now. It's too many flashbacks. In the beginning, I want to know all of the stuff, but now I think it's taking a little bit too long to tell me backstory at the cost of advancing the actual in the now moment. I'm just saying I'm having a little trouble keeping track of when and where everything is sort of happening, and it's just getting a little muddy for me. I wasn't trying to be overly critical. I know you love this shit. I promise you, we're going to have more to say about it. So yeah, I totally agree with all of that. I'm just saying for me, it's getting a little bit muddy. That's
I
all.
hear you.
Just
I
a
hear
little
you.
bit. Just a little bit. And I want to know a little bit more about what's at stake right now, not how did you fix the thing so many years ago. That's all. Just a little bit of
Yeah.
critique.
Yeah.
If somebody feels like they got some criticism for you, Arthur, where are they going to find you?
Well, I mean, as far as you're criticizing me, I guess you could leave some message for me. I guess you could leave some message for me on my website, www.arthurromeo.live. Or you can hit me up on Instagram at drawreallyawesomewwow, all underscored on Instagram. And where can I find you, buddy?
Oh, well, people want to talk shit about me, they can do it to my face. But barring all that, you can reach out to me on Instagram at thomas.olton, spelled O-L-T-O-N. Or you can find our page on Instagram at tails_2_admonish. And if you would, please go to your favorite podcasting app of choice, rate and review the show, because it helps other people find us, and we could use a few of those.
Please do.
So, yeah, if that's something you like to do, please, by all means, do it. And if not, we totally understand. I don't rate reviews as often as I should.
Yeah, we want to do some MailChimp advertisements.
That's right. Don't make us go out and start, MailChimp and all. It's not good. It's not good. We promise. We'll never do that. But we will be back next week on the original Yahoo.
Yahoo!
That I don't even know how to respond. All right, thanks everybody.
Bye.